I'm here excited to share with you something really cool. I'm actually in a refresh Model 3, a Highland Model 3, whatever you want to call it these days. It's the new Model 3, and these things are shipping in huge numbers. But one of the things that went away with this Model 3 is something that I'm going to be adding back to the car just today. And this should be one of the very first videos of this actually being released, because this thing hasn't even started shipping yet. So I'm here in a friend's car, Cole. He's in here with me. We're going to install this today. It's a super easy install, and of course it comes from my friends at Enhance Auto with sexy buttons. So if you have a Commander already, you have sexy buttons, or you don't, you can do this with or without the Commander. So if you already have a Commander installed in your vehicle, all you have to do is purchase the stocks. And if you don't have the Commander already, you can purchase everything all in one kit. That's what we're going to do today. This does more than just add a turn signal and a gear shifter, one or the other. It actually gives you the ability to activate a bunch of different functions now on these new stocks. So with that, let's dive into today's video, because this one's going to be a good one. So as usual, we have a really nice premium package set up here, and here are the stocks. So this particular kit that we are looking at right here is the full kit. This has a Commander and the 2 stocks in it. Of course, you can get just one stock. You can get with the Commander, without the Commander. You can get both stocks, one stock. A bunch of different ways to order this, but how this works is actually super easy. It takes a minute to install this, as you can see. And what we are looking at is one of the 2 stocks. So this actually adheres to the backside of the steering wheel on the column, and I'll show you that later. This particular adhesive tape, the way it works is it actually gets harder and stronger with sunlight. So over time, it's actually going to have an even stronger bond. It will be removable in the future if you so desire, and the kit even comes with an extra set of adhesive just in case you remove them and need to put them back on. So that's what these look like. Here's one side. We have left, right. It's one in each direction, but we also have, of course, our button here, and those are the functions that we can mess with. What's really cool is it's not just one function, another one function. It's actually, there's another function. So there's up to 8 different functions on each lever that you can activate, and you get to choose which functions you want. So that's how this is going to work. A number of different functions you can use, all with the stock. 1 stock, 2 stocks, doesn't matter. You can set this up however you want. You also don't have to have the buttons. You also don't have to have the knob. Those are all options. But in the Highland Model 3, this is really nice, because I've heard from a number of people who refuse to consider the car because of the lack of stocks, which isn't a big deal to me personally. However, that is definitely a hurdle that a number of people have talked about, given the fact that the new Model Y is coming with a turn signal stock. So with that, let's dive into the install. We're going to start on the passenger floorboard, which is where we're going to connect the Commander. Here we are over at the passenger side, and it's really easy to get access to what we need to plug into. It's actually going to be, we're going to remove this panel, and then we're going to pull back on this part of the carpet just a little bit to access a couple of wires we're going to tap into here. Opening the box here, inside we have, of course, our Commander here. This is what the Commander looks like, and this is the brains behind everything. And even just with this Commander, just this, without the buttons, without the stocks, this alone can actually activate a ton of really cool features in all Teslas that you may want to consider. So even just this alone is very powerful. And then, of course, we have our wiring here. This is all included, and we do have a body clip removal, which is really helpful, because we will need to remove just one body pin that's right into here, and we'll need to, of course, pry back on this. But essentially how this works, we are going to use this to tap into power, and we're going to use this to tap into the brains of the car, tap into the Commander here, and that is it. So here is that one clip that we need to remove. You can kind of see it right here. First, gonna pop the head out, and then the whole clip comes out. Just need to pull this back just enough to be able to access our wiring in here, and you can start to see it right here. So our first wire is this top one here. So I'm going to go to the screen, and I'm going to hit power off. And to do that, we're going to go to the menu, and then at the very bottom of safety, power off, just to be safe. And as long as you don't open a door or touch the brakes or anything like that, it'll stay powered off. So first, we're going to connect our first pigtail, connect that back to the OEM wire. And then next, Going to tap into our diagnostic port there. Finally, going to connect to the commander. And that's it. That's all the wiring that you're going to do. You are now an expert in wiring. Tuck everything back in and pay special attention while you're putting this back together. You might have to move things around a couple of times just to get it right. Make sure everything is out of the way and you're still able to get everything tied back up, tucked in, all that good stuff. The kit does come with wet wipes. If you have your own, that's fine as well. You can even just use glass cleaner, but definitely wipe down the surfaces you're about to adhere to just to make sure there's no greases or anything like that, so you get good connection. And it's going to be right here, right behind where the actual steering wheel is. It's going to be right along this edge right here. So for orientation, this says right top, so that would be the passenger side, the top. So it helps with orientation. Right bottom, so that means this is going to go just like this. Also, what's cool about how this is set up is we're able to place this and then pull on these strips. So first, get this aligned correctly before we start pulling on these, and they are numbered. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. So this is already attached pretty firmly. As you can see, any movement is moving the whole bezel. So this one's going to be used, I guess traditionally you would say this would be your gear shifter, which you can absolutely set up as. So let me do the same thing on the other side and we'll come right back. Okay, and as you can see, this is nicely hidden, tucked behind the steering wheel. You can barely see it, but there it is, just in the normal place that these used to be when they came on the vehicle. And we've got one on both sides, of course, up, down, and a button press. Those are our functions that we can use. And the next step here, now that you have this installed, is literally open up the app and let's start assigning functions. So we have the app open now. And the first thing we need to do is we need to find our commander. We need to connect to it. So you're going to hit commander and you're going to connect. So here in a moment, it's going to find that commander and it's connecting. Awesome. So some of the nice things about this, these are all features we can turn on without any other equipment other than just the commander. So things like we can have the high beams automatically turn off, or the wipers. So when you're in full self-driving, it automatically wants to apply your automatic brights. You can actually have that never happen by hitting that button there. Continuous autopilot, which is really amazing. We're actually going to give you a demo of this today. This is one of my favorite features from Enhance Auto that you do not have to have any special equipment other than commander to do. We have some other basics here. You can hold a door half open for some other functionality, things like that, presenting doors, but a number of features. And on their website, you can see everything listed on what this is capable of doing. Another thing, if you are into the data on your Tesla, Scan My Tesla is a one-time pay app, and you can actually connect that to your commander, and then your commander can actually read battery diagnostics, temperatures, and a lot of really detailed information on the vehicle. If you're a nerd like me, Scan My Tesla, I would highly recommend getting that app, but that's just me. So let's go back here. We want to now go ahead and do the software update, get this thing up to date. This is going to send the update straight to the commander. So there we go. We just had our software update completed, and it's just showing us software updates are not required. So now we're going to go to stocks, and we're going to connect to these. So connect new stock, and press the side button on the stock until it connects. So we're going to press and hold the left one. All right, and this is how we can set all the different features. So it is automatically set up as a turn signal. So, and there it goes. Yep. Both turn signals work as they're supposed to, which is cool. And then it wants to automatically set up as a wiper. So this is all natural. So it's set up automatically to do stuff like it's supposed to. And I'll show you that here in a moment. But now let's go back and let's connect the next one. To connect the second one, swipe to the right, and I see it now actually just looking right there. There's our two bubbles to show you there's two to choose from. So let's connect the right stock, press and hold, same as on the left. And there we go. And it's set as a gear selector as it sits right now, just like normal, reverse drive and park. So, yep, not going to let us do it without our foot on the brake. So that is functioning correctly. So this, again, is where we can set everything up. So instead of wiper blades, let's see what else we can do. The way it also works is it has a different setting when you're in drive versus when you're in park. So there are some things that you can do while you're in park that you cannot do in drive. So it allows you to select different functions depending on what you're doing. So we have it set as wipers, and that's in drive, and that should also be while in park. It's also set to single wipe. Let's say when we're in park, since we won't need wipers, we want it to open the, let's say, trunk. So that way I can also close the trunk while we're sitting here. So now when I press that left knob, since we are in park, let's see what happens. Nothing. Why did that happen? Is that oh, that's long press. Sorry. So long press. It's pretty awesome. If I long press it again, this stuff is just so slick. I love it. You can also do a double press and then a single press. So there's literally 3 different functions you can do just by the button on the side. So right now there's nothing selected for double press. Please be informed when assigning a double or long press action, single press action will be delayed by 0.3 seconds. So that's something to keep in mind before you start adding functions. So if you do that, a single press will have a slight delay of 1/3 of a second. A double press, let's say we want that to turn us into, we could do mirror folds, which would be cool. Fold the mirrors, save action. Okay, so this is just for the side button on one of the 2 stalks. So on the other side, we won't mess with that for now for time purposes. Let's go to the commander, and we're gonna mess with some of these settings now. So continuous autopilot, this is a really cool feature. I love this feature, and what it does when you turn this on, it'll give you your warning and let you know everything, but basically when you switch lanes from being in autopilot, it automatically kicks you out of autopilot. As soon as you get in that next lane and the turn signal stops, after this time period, whatever you set it to, it will try to reactivate autopilot. And I say try to because if you're not completely in the lane where you can activate autopilot, it won't work. So you have to be all the way in that lane 3 seconds after the turn signal stops for that to reactivate. And it works really well. It's actually really a slick thing. Again, you don't need any buttons or anything other than just the commander to do that. And you can also turn this on where if you floor it, it could automatically kick you into the fastest mode that you have available in your vehicle. That's another really cool feature. And this one was a big deal back in the day. This has gotten a lot better, but if it still bothers you when you put your vehicle in autopilot or full self-driving and it automatically puts on the auto high beams, this is how you can override that. Same with the wipers. So if you don't want the wipers to be switched to automatic, you can also turn that off here. So I've used that in the past quite a bit. You can also have it to where if you open a door and you hold it open, that handle, it can actually be used to add some other functions. So something pretty cool that you can do, add that depending on which you want. You can also have, if you use your trunk a lot, I guess you can activate that. This is actually going to be native in the Tesla UI here soon, where you stand behind the car, it'll open the trunk for you. You can have it automatically open the driver's door for you when you approach, which is pretty cool, kind of like in the Model X. Ambient lighting effects, this is really cool. They spent a lot of time adding this specific to the Model 3, but if you want, if you turn on to always, we'll do blind spot assist. So when there's a car in your blind spot, it'll turn that section of the ambient lights red. Your turn signals, pretty cool. I'll show you that as well. Autopilot indication, it'll pulse a blue. I'll turn all of this on and show you what all that looks like. pretty cool stuff if you want to play with your lights a little bit. Anyways, that's just a few of the options I want to do. I wanted to give you a quick highlight on the big stuff, and we're going to show you a demo of all of this right now. If you were to add sexy buttons, this is where you would add those functions, but also you can just add a function here without those buttons and use the app to control all of this. Also, with this app, you have the ability to look at all of your information while you're driving, and you can customize this to set up what kind of a dashboard you want. So this you can put like on your dash while you're driving and have all this information displayed if that's something that you want to do. It's all native in the app. But for now, let's get this car rolling and I'll show you some of these cool features. So we're about to hit the road and show some of these cool features right now. This is what the turn signal feature looks like. So if you want, you're able to see which turn signal's on. It's actually kind of cool. And you can also add some other light features to this setup with the Commander, and that is stuff that Enhanced Auto has been working on and continues to add more and more, which is pretty cool. So we're going to try to let this car behind us get in his blind spot so I can show you that, although thinking now, yeah, okay, so there you go. It's like an amber yellowish, and that's to let you know as the driver that there's somebody in your blind spot, which is really cool. It's a super obvious setup there. So we're going to go ahead and put it in autopilot now. So basic autopilot is on, and this is with the colors set up for autopilot. And what he's going to want to do is now he wants to switch lanes. So he's going to turn his turn signal on, and it's going to kick you out of autopilot. And without doing anything else, as soon as that turn signal stops, 3 seconds is what it's set at, automatically kicks it right back on. This is basically enhanced autopilot without doing the lane change for you. And I apologize about all the alarms we're getting. It's because I'm holding the camera and the car's not happy about that. But these are some of the best features that you can add to your car. So rather than spending thousands of dollars, just the Commander itself can do what we just showed you, which is really cool. But now it's all controlled with all of these nice levers that we have on the left and the right, which is probably a little difficult to see, but they function just like normal. And we'll pull into a parking lot and I'll show you how they work like normal. All right, so we're going to pull in here and show you some of the functions on the rest of the stock. So on the right, it's set up right now just like the traditional right-hand stalk, which is a gear selector on the Model Y. And so we'll pull over here to the side somewhere and we'll put it in park, show you how all that works, and also toggle all of the buttons here. So there, now we're in park. We can also put it in drive and in reverse. If he puts his foot on the brake, there we go. So it works just like normal. It's immediate. You can put it in drive. It'll be immediate as well. Just like that. Now we're in drive, and then he can put it in park just by pressing the button. It's just, it just works is the point, and it's super low latency, so it's pretty much immediate. And then on the other side are some of the other functions that he has added. Now we can add some other functions like a double press on the park while we're driving or while we're in park to add other features. And I gave you a short little demo of some of the lights that happen with some of the options we have turned on. Like when you're in autopilot, it's glowing blue, so you can turn that off, you can keep it on. And then you also saw the blind spot monitor, which actually changes the color of the light bar into a different color to make it more obvious that there's somebody on that side only in your blind spot, which is really, really cool. So that's how this works. This thing is amazing. I'm super stoked that this thing is finally out and available. So for those of you who really wish you had your stalks for turn signal, for gear selector, and for those of you who refuse to consider a Tesla without the stalks, it's now available. And these are going to start shipping here very soon. I think a week or two after these ship for the Model 3 Highland, Model S and X version comes out, which is going to be basically the same thing. It'll have not quite as many features as the Model 3 and Model Y do with the Commander, but same principle with the stocks. So pretty awesome. Code BTG will save you some money on this. Pretty good chunk, actually. And again, you can order this as a Commander and 2 stocks, Commander and 1 stock, just a Commander, just 1 stock, just 2 stocks. If you already have Commander, you can order this so many different ways. But this is a total no-brainer on adding this, just for the functionality of some of these cool things you can do without having to spend a bunch of money on getting full self-driving and things like that, but also tapping into the ambient lights that now come in the Highland Model 3 and soon to be refreshed Model Y. So I thank you so much for joining us today, and I can't wait to catch you on the next one.